welcome. This is another episode of At the Bucket with Gio. I'm with Ruben Padilla. How's it going, Ruben?
Good, how are you doing?
Not too bad. So, trampolinist here today. I'm actually very excited because I don't have a lot of trampoline and tumbling experience. So this is gonna be a learning experience for me for sure. Definitely gonna have to get caught up with that. But let's first start with you, Ruben. Like, where are you from? Where do you train?
Originally, I'm from Oakley, California. It's up north.
Mhm.
I moved to Salt Lake City, Utah when I was 17, so about 3 years ago.
Mm,
I'm training at a gym called Wasatch TNT.
nice. So you moved at 17. That's a pretty interesting story because you had to move in with a teammate, right?
Yeah, I
Mhm.
moved in with Caden and his family. He's a tumbler.
Okay.
Uh, I've competed against him throughout the years, so we're pretty close
Hmm.
already. Moving has been a lot of fun.
Dang. What was that like? How did that come about? Like you were training in California, right? And probably you saw them during meets and things like that. You guys started to become, friends and all that. How did it go from you being in California, decision to move, and then you moving in with Caden?
So when I was training in California, I finished out the season and then changed gyms after nationals. It just wasn't really working out for me and my coach. And his coach, Becky, that's not his mom, but they have the same last name.
But not related.
They not related, no.
Okay, okay, okay.
But Becky knew my coach, and like they used to train long time ago
Hmm.
together, and she invited him to come coach with her so he can do trampoline and double mini while she focuses on the tumbling part of the gym.
Hmm.
And he said, well, if I'm taking Ruben, and
Hmm.
that's how it came about pretty
Oh yeah.
much.
And then you guys.
We worked out like the details of like housing
Mhm.
after that.
Mhm. So it sounded
Yeah, it's
like,
been a fun move.
yeah, it sounded like it's been a great move for you, but it also sounds like you were very sure about it, about the time. Like, doesn't it didn't really phase you to be like, uh it didn't really phase you for like, oh, how are we gonna do this? What's gonna happen? It kind of just seems like to me, oh, we're doing this, we're gonna figure it out later. Like, figure out when it needs to be figured out.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was towards the end of July. I
Mhm.
visited the gym and like stayed with Kaden for like a week just to try it out, see how I liked it and everything. And in a month, I was already living there. So
Oh wow. You said within a month.
very quick month.
You're cutting out a little bit, so sorry.
Oh, am I?
Yeah. But yeah, so very quick transition. What was it like moving from Cali to Utah? Was that different lifestyle, different mindset, or was it the same similar?
It was super different. And at first, I thought it was like different, but I then realized that it wasn't like good or bad. It was just different. The people were different. The gym was different. Over time, I grew to like, feel like it was like a family at the gym. And I got close with a lot of people there. And
Hmm.
they were super welcoming and everything like that.
That's always good. Um, it's good when you have that good environment. Um, Going into practice, that definitely helps. Be the best, gymnast that you can be for sure. How important was that to go from a smaller gym to, a gym that is very competitive? What was that like, and how important was that to have peers at your level?
So like, throughout like my years of gymnastics growing up, I've been a couple different gyms and I've always been the high school. So I'd go to competitions or national team camps like by myself and everything. And I'm not saying that was a bad thing, but it was hard to stay motivated, I feel like. So when I moved to Utah and trained with other elites and everything, it felt like I was finally being pushed, and like I didn't have to like self motivate.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would see people from my gym doing new skills, and it pushed me to do something or push me to work harder. And it was a much better training environment overall.
Mm-hmm. And so you said the same coach moved with you as well. What was so that must have made it a little bit better, I assume.
Yeah, it made the transition a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've known my coach, his name is Sven Nielsen,
Mm-hmm.
since I was like 6. I didn't always train with him. He would come to my gym and do clinics and go there to do trainings, and like working with him where he was like my coach, I feel like I'm much faster and quicker. And then moving to Utah increased like everything.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like training became easier, uh, became more fun. I started working harder. I felt more motivated, and it was just everything really.
Yeah, all comes together. Um, so you're still in Utah now, right? Training and coaching, right?
Yeah, I'm training about 15 hours a week and coaching about 20.
Okay. Yeah. So what's coaching like? How has that helped? How's that helped you become a gymnast or become a better gymnast yourself?
Being on the other side and seeing how work it like actually is and how much work the coaches have to put in into every single athlete, it's, I don't know, it really opened my eyes to
Mm-hmm.
like not only what my coach does, but like others like around the world. Especially with like bigger gyms where they have to work with a lot more athletes and like find some way to work with them like individually.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Definitely opened my eyes.
Yeah, it's hard. I'm a coach as well, so I've been coaching the past 2, 3 years now, and that's definitely you hit it right on the spot. Right when you get in there, you realize that you only been worrying about yourself, and when you have to get to know these gymnasts, not only their personality but also how they work and what they do is very, very difficult for each and every single person. And then you have 10, 20, 30 kids you gotta coach. So um, that's super crazy. Do you enjoy coaching?
Oh yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun, and it's kind of like a break
Mhm.
me training where it's like I can help other people with their, so it's just like I don't know, multiple aspects.
Right. It's a good balance because you don't have to actually go out there and physically do it, but still enjoy the sport, which is awesome. That's why I love it. Is I can sit back and watch, relax for a little bit, and then tell people. But also, I'm still engaged in the sport and being able to experience the sport from a different light is really cool for me.
Right. And
Yeah.
for me, I feel like I can give like the kids that I coach knowledge that I grew up with and that
Mhm.
I like coaches, and like give it to them, and you know,
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
feeling.
It's that awesome, it's a cool cycle going around. Pass down the information that really sparked your enthusiasm for the sport. So um it's really cool just to know
Yeah.
that it's similar with, I did artistic gymnastics, you're in tumbling and trampoline, but you're really hitting like the same, spots that I've been really attached to the sport. So that's really cool. And with my limited knowledge of trampoline and tumbling, just because I come from the artistic um side, it might be really good for me. I'm being kind of selfish right now, but for me to like know what do um what am I trying to say here? What do what are the different, so there are different events. What's in the Olympics and what are the different events we go through? So there's tramp, tumbling, double mini. Um, I'll let you go
And then
through.
there's also synchronized trampoline.
Right. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How is
So
that?
oh sorry. Good.
How is that different? Like synchronized is definitely something that's not at all like artistic gymnastics. How is that different? How do you have to, yeah, how's that different?
So synchronized trampoline is honestly just more fun event
Mhm.
because at like our nations, they don't base synchronized trampoline on like worlds who's making national team. Like that's just kind of like a side event.
Mhm.
And they base, the national team or who, because we take four to every international competition, then they are 2 and 2.
Mhm.
So it could be with someone new, someone you've never worked with, and you get
Really?
like 2 days to train it and just kind of see what happens. But that's usually how it goes. It's a pretty random event.
Yeah, that's wild. I would have think like I would have thought that you would, if you were to do synchronize, you would have the same person, be able to do the same thing. So you've competed in synchro. What how does that work when you meet the partner that you go to? Do you guys have like always have like a set rhythm? How does that work?
So you kind of just like, so what I usually do is traveling, come up with the routine there.
Mhm.
And obviously we can adjust it to see,
Uh,
what to do or what would work better for both of us. But usually you get like a day to train it,
wow.
2 or more if you're lucky.
Mhm.
But it's just kind of like finding a good balance of like difficulty, but also like the rhythm, I guess,
Mhm.
because the harder the routine, the lower you're gonna go, making it easier to get out of the versus like an easier routine. You can stay like closer together usually.
Mhm.
And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. You're not judged on how or like you're not timed like you are in trampoline.
Okay.
That gets replaced with like the synchronized
How synchronized you are.
portion.
So is it kind of like
Yeah.
form breaks? Is it like one tenth for this amount of off? Like if it's this off, these are the bodies. If it's this off, it's
Right.
1/10. Is it like one body, 1 foot, 1 inch? How does that work?
So we have like sensors in the trampoline.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's like a new thing that I'm using called Veriflight, where it basically like into the trampoline, like on the side, like under the pad.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you hit the trampoline, it stops the time. Get off the trampoline like in the air, it starts the time back up, and that's called time of flight.
Mm-hmm.
But at competitions, we use a laser that
Mm-hmm.
just points across the trampoline, and as soon as the laser gets broken, the time stops.
Okay.
And then once the laser comes back, it starts again. And so both trampolines have it. And so with that, they can
Right.
how synchronized you are.
Huh. That is awesome. That is so cool. I never knew that because I mean all of artistic gymnastics is it's just eyesight. I feel like
Right.
we need a you guys are ahead of your time. I feel like that's really cool. That would help so much if like for lines and things we need more digitized judging. That's really cool. Is it just like
Yeah.
seconds then for deductions? Like you're second off?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And
But you also have to worry about execution,
mhm.
horizontal displacement, which means like, have you ever cleaned and seen like those boxes, the red lines and everything?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like there's like a middle box and then
Hmm.
it just kind of, right. So where you are on the trampoline is how much you get deducted. So if you're right in the middle, deductions versus being in the corner, it's like a 0.3 deduction each jump.
Okay. Nice. So it's not like a fall, but it's significant and it'll add up. It's just form deductions,
Right.
another way to take off for form, things like that. Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Learning so much already. Let's go into the flight time because that's also something I'm very unfamiliar with and I think is kind of crucial for your events for trampoline. It's just, is it the total time you're in is it for each jump or is it for just the whole routine?
So each routine is 10 skills,
Mm-hmm.
and they time you just like I told you with the laser and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It stops when you're at the bottom of the trampoline because it's called like time of flight, how long you are in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it has one of, if not like the most significant like impacts on the event. Because for me, I'm someone who doesn't jump high.
Mm-hmm.
I could lose 2 to 3 points on one routine alone.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, it's huge. So
Yeah.
training height.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna sound bad, but I'm scared of heights. So having to jump high
You're in the
and
wrong
do those
sport, my
skills.
dude.
I know.
That's really funny, but that adds a
But
whole other aspect to the sport for sure.
Right. I feel like it has too much of an impact
Mm-hmm.
because for some people they like physically can't jump as high,
Mm-hmm.
whereas some people touch the moon.
Right.
And it's just there's
yeah.
a huge range of like people are.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've seen people get like 14-second routines compared to like 19-second routines, which right there is 5-point gap just on time.
Oh, geez. Yeah. So is it a point per second or?
It's just yeah, basically the time is. So like say your time is 15 seconds and 15 milliseconds, then that will be added onto your score.
Oh, that's cool.
Just
So
like
what's
directly adding
right.
on.
What's like a normal score for trampoline then? Is it like in the 30s? I would assume things like that.
So we have 2 executions that both judge out of 10.
Mm-hmm. Then difficulty.
So difficulty,
Okay.
which ranges from like 14 points to 18 points usually.
Mm-hmm.
There's also horizontal displacement, which is also out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then time. And I don't think anything, but I'd say our compulsory routine, so our first routine, they're about high 40s to low 50s.
Okay.
And optional, like our second routine, it was from about mid 50s to low.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I get your point on how time displacement would be a huge factor then, just because if it's, out of 50 and someone has 15 seconds versus 20 seconds, that's huge. Like 20 seconds out of 50, that's 40% of your score. Without
right.
doing any of the difficulty. Execution's only out of 10, so that makes sense. You've made your case for sure. So now we got through that, kind of like the boring technical aspects of gymnastics. Even with those, even with you saying that you're not a high flyer, you're not one of the highest jumpers, you still got second place in the Worlds in 2019. What was that like when you were able to medal at Worlds?
So when I got my silver was for double mini trampoline, and it was actually my second time getting a silver medal at World Championships.
First one,
and it was just such an incredible 2018. Yeah.
Okay.
And I was actually the youngest that year.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It was an incredible feeling because 2018, I definitely felt like I just got lucky.
Mm.
Um,
Hey, sometimes.
because both of the passes that I didn't find, like you can't repeat from the qualifications to the finals. You can't repeat passes or skills, and I was going to make the finals. It's just like gymnastics 8, and I was 8th going in.
Mm.
A little scary.
Yeah, just barely made.
And I just kind of wanted to, I just barely made the cut. I wanted to go in there and basically just try new passes that I did before. And somehow it worked out and I got a silver medal. But I definitely felt a lot more pressure in 2019 because I had just a silver the year before. A lot of people were talking about the rivalry between like Ruben Padilla and Mikhail Zolomon, this 10-time world champion. But we're actually good friends, so it's bad or anything like that. Friendly rivalry, yeah, there you go. But in 2019, during the preliminary round qualification, we actually tied.
Wow.
I had never thought that I would get that close. And they broke the tie on execution, which he won. So he was first place going into finals. But the day after qualifications, we had a team final, and it's just one pass. You can do whatever, repeat. And we got the exact same score that day again.
Oh my goodness.
And then the day after that, which was like our individual final, he beat me by 1 point to the 5 points that it was.
You're closing in the gap.
Prior. A lot of people are like looking at this year and like saying like who's gonna win. I've seen people placing bets. And I've seen people like placing bets on what passes I'm gonna do. Ever since last year, I've done like 10 world firsts, I think, and I've also landed the current world record.
Oh wow!
So it's like, yeah, people are like, what is he gonna do? What pass? What skills? Are we gonna see anything new or anything? Which is fun for me because it's like puts like attention on me, and like it's like people are like intrigued, and that's like a really cool feeling. So, but I feel like this year, my goal hasn't changed. My goal ever since 2018 is just go out there, do the passes like I know how to do them, and just see what happens from there.
Nice. So double mini is not in the Olympics, right? Unfortunately.
It's only trampoline right now. And I've heard talks that they're trying to get synchro into the Olympic 24, which would be great. I'm not sure how that would work, considering we only take one athlete for trampoline. Yeah. They do have double mini and tumbling in the World Games.
So who are we for the Olympics? Who are we bringing in for trampoline?
So for the men, we have Ali Shostak, who earned a name spot from Worlds in 2019. And then we have Nicole Assinger, and we have 2 alternates. We have 2 alternates for the women. And the first one is Sarah Webster. And the second alternate is Charlotte Drury.
Nice. What's the landscape like for trampoline and tumbling? Is US one of the top teams going in? Not at all. Worst teams? Where are we at?
I wouldn't say we're bad. Don't get me wrong. Definitely not bad. But we I also went to the top. We have China, Belarus, Russia, France, Canada. Like I can list a lot of countries that are just really high up there. Like this year, we've started to get like work our way up.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of similar to what men's gymnastics is going through. I mean, we've had our time, but now we're trying to work our way back up again. Good luck to those guys.
Right.
Definitely.
Hey,
Awesome.
good luck to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they've killed hard.
When the trampoline events for 2020 now are what, next week? What's
Yeah.
Okay. What are the events and how does that work in the Olympics? Is it day one and finals? How many days are there? Things like that.
I'm not sure. I don't think they do the semis.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's only World Cup. So I think we only just have 2 days, maybe 3 for women and men. But we just have a qualification round and that's it.
So 2 days and done. I think that's the same for men's gymnastics too. There's day one, and except for event finals, but since there's only one for trampoline, 2 days. So going into what was that like? Or you were trying for 2020, correct? What was that like? What was that like going to try out for the Olympics? What's that process look like?
So we have cups that start, I think, 2 years before the Olympic year. And on top of the World Cups, that's like what we use to qualify like our country spot basically. And to qualify ourselves, we have 3 national competitions a year of the Olympics to determine who will go. Take the best 2 out of 3 scores, and whoever's at the top, I think, just gets the spot, and then it just goes from there. So top and then alternate after that.
Right. Dang. So it's only one spot. That's just super competitive.
Super.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. Is that the same for every single country, or do other countries have more spots to give or to go?
Just 1 spot per country, and multiple spots are allowed if they have like the most Olympic points or something.
Okay.
Because I think there were 2 people going for China in 2016.
Nice. So you're unfortunately didn't make it for this one, but what needs to be done for 2024?
2024, I work on consistency on trampoline. Because I feel like if I hit a good routine, then definitely be towards the top, but like in the US. I definitely need to work on my time of flight. That one kills me every time. They're actually changing the rules for trampoline. So like how I told you, there was 2 routines before. They're making it so it's less boring and only 1 routine. And so 2 attempts at that routine though.
2 attempts. Oh, that's cool. I like that.
2 attempts, which is new because if the trampoline, you can't get back up. Like you're cut off right there.
Oh, so
I feel like this.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. Like as soon as you either even like blue, it's over. Or if you do a straight jump without a position or anything in it, in the middle scene, you're done.
Wow. That's pretty crazy.
Super hard.
Yeah.
Because it's a because you're 20, 30 feet up in the air. A little mistake, like one wrong angle can send you flying off the trampoline, which is why it's kind of scary. But
Or you
Yeah,
want
I
to
definitely just need to work on my time of flight. I feel like my difficulty is, there.
Mhm.
Like I set the US difficulty record last year. No, this year on trampoline.
Nice. That's awesome.
But so I feel like my difficulty's there. I just
Mhm.
need to work on consistency, staying in the middle.
Mhm.
That's the big one.
Yeah. Is it within the small box there is no deduction? Then uh
Yeah, so it's
boxes.
like,
What about the sides? Is that also a deduction?
yeah, so if you're in that little box, right in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
it's directions. If you're on, because like the center box is kind of like a rectangle and there's a square in the middle of,
Mm-hmm.
it's like on this side of it, it's 0.1. You go more, it's 2, and on this side, it's 0.2. And then the corners are 0.3.
Okay. Gotcha. Nice. Yeah, so
Yeah.
consistency, that's one. Time of flight is two. I remember, I mean, this is just me looking to the side, the side watching the trampolinist go when I would train. It would just be timing, just 10 jumps, right?
hmm
That's one way of you guys training it. What are other ways that you train just trying to jump higher?
Um, like some things that I do
Mm-hmm.
is start from a stand and then do like basic skills. It's like what
Mm-hmm.
we call like swing time, where it's back tuck, granny tuck, back pike, granny pike, back straight, granny straight. So either starting from like a stand or like one bounce or something to like height and push higher and higher for each jump, or just doing it from max height to keep the height. There's a bunch of different ways that you can train it. I just need to train it more.
Is that something that you don't like training at all? Is that one of the challenging things for you to motivate yourself to do that?
For me, I just feel like for me to like push the trampoline to get to that height that other people are. And even when I get there, it's hard to keep that height,
Mm-hmm.
which is another thing. So it definitely sucks to train it, but I know that it's necessary. Um,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of it. I feel like I just rotates really fast.
Mm-hmm.
I had to like rely on it in the past. Um, but now that I do it, it's a challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody has those things, like no matter what sport, whatever, that you don't like to train for sure. Like when or there's always something where it's like, "Ugh, I hate doing this." Um, for me, it was pommel horse for sure. That was something I did not like doing.
I was so bad at balls.
Yeah, you started with gymnastics, right?
I did
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
just 5 to 10.
Mm-hmm. That's what I find that's the usual transition. It's like, oh, you start with gymnastics and then you realize, oh, trampoline and tumbling's cool. What was that transition like?
Right.
Um, what was that transition
Yeah.
like
So
to gymnastics? Yeah.
for me, I really loved artistic gymnastics and everything. It was definitely harder on the body,
Mm-hmm.
and longer training hours, but then they introduced trampoline and tumbling to our gym, and it was just kind of something I did on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned out like with the base that I had from gymnastics, that it actually carried over really well. And within my first year of like trying it, just doing it for fun, really, I qualified to our nationals as a level 5, I think,
Mm-hmm.
6. And I ended up with gold, silver, and
First try. Very
right
nice.
first try. um, and I wasn't expecting that, and my coach definitely wasn't.
Uh-huh.
Um, and actually, my coach at the time is living here right now, so
Huh.
that's pretty cool.
Nice.
We're still really close.
Cool. Good.
But yeah, really provided me with like a lot of good structure, basics, and everything that I needed for gymnastics and trampoline and tumbling.
Mm-hmm.
I was then put into a position where I was like, I have to choose one or the other. And I found like I just enjoyed trampoline
Mm-hmm.
more. I mean, a little like 7-year-old kid who doesn't like jumping on trampolines.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'd say for me, it was a good choice.
I think you chose right. Yeah. That's pretty good. Um, so obviously now your coach, you guys are still really close, but talk about how he has impacted you and what you've learned from him.
So my first ever coach, his name is Yoshi Nakayama.
Mm-hmm.
I was with him for about 5-6 years, and he didn't just train me in like, he also helped me like, he trained my with thinking. We had like at our gym like over the summer that he would just train, work our minds, and then go back to something.
Hmm.
Yeah, cool.
I,
And
that's
he
all.
also gave us like goals, which I feel like really helped. You had what your goals for the day, the week, the year,
Mm-hmm.
long term, and just building that up at such like a young age for someone. I felt like it still like impacts me today because what do I want to achieve today, tomorrow, within a week, still stuff like that, and it helps me with like pushing.
Yeah, that's
Obviously, close, and everything like that, and I don't know. It's like family now.
yeah, that's such an important value for you for to be instilled for sure. Just like not having just that um now mindset. Oh, I just want to jump tramp, I want to do this, but being able to look in the future and be like, oh, I want to be able to do these things and be able to have that goal. And it sounds like that's something that's been instilled in you. So I got a question for you. What is your goals for today, next week, this year, and on?
So goals for today is just to relax,
Mm-hmm.
just home visiting family, and I just want to spend time with them. And a really tough season.
Mm-hmm.
For next week, I'll be back in, and I'm just coming off of a concussion, so just back up and working it slowly. I've been working my air awareness lately, and just doing a lot of training. For a month, we have our team camp for trampoline. So I'm not going into that with huge expectations. I just kind of want to see where I'm still at. The concussion, haven't been able to train in about a month. So probably just working bigger, probably not doing a whole lot of connections.
Mm-hmm.
And then end of the year, I'll have competed at Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
And my goal there is to make finals and just put out 4 passes. Oh, so 5 passes
Mm.
that I'm happy with. On top of that, just be like a good teammate for all of our new guys that are best worlds.
Nice. So when
And
is
next year it's World Games. So
when is
Worlds is mid to later. So I think it's the third week.
October?
November.
Oh, November. Sorry, cutting out.
Yeah.
Um,
No, it's all good.
all right, so cool. You got plenty of time. Get back into it. Yeah, concussions are always rough. That sucks.
Oh yeah. My
What
coach has
happened
actually
there?
been working with me really
Uh-huh.
well and everything to like get me back and making sure that I'm not doing too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you talked about being a good role model and teammate for the older or the younger guys. What's that like? Because I mean, you're still pretty young. You're 20 years old. What's that like? Kind of stepping up into a leadership role now that you've been established as one of the top trampolinists.
Um, it's definitely a good feeling to, like know that not only like am I like towards the top, but people are like looking at me and looking up to me and everything like that. It's such a good feeling. And I've always been who, who's like to help other people. And I feel like this year I can definitely do that
Hmm.
with like our team because we have a really young team this year.
Hmm.
In other years, people have been in their 20s, but this year we have a 16-year-old, a 17, an 18, a 20, and 28.
Oh, nice.
So I'm not the oldest one.
Right. You're the second in command.
Oldest, second in command.
But so you being this role model now, this coach now to younger kids, them being able to look up to you, what were some of the people and gymnasts that you looked up to growing up?
I have done like 3 events
Mhm.
growing up, so there's a lot of people that I've looked for trampoline. It's been Logan Dooley, who is the 26th trampoline Olympian for the
Mhm.
men. Um, he is actually our highest placing Olympian for trampoline. I
Nice.
think he got a 20. And then there's also been like Charlotte Drury. She's just had such an journey, and just watching her compete is my favorites. Um, Shostak, who is this year's Olympian, and like the privilege and be on the same team as him, like competing internationally, as well as 16.
Mhm.
Um, I've gotten a lot closer with him this like these past couple of years, and it's because I remember being like a little kid and watching him, and now I'm competing with him. Lastly, like Cody Giselli, he's like other Team USA guy like that we competed throughout the years. Definitely got really close with him, and he's closer to my age, so um, good friends and everything.
Mhm.
And for the women, I'd say also Nicole Assinger.
Mhm.
So much fun to watch and train with and everything. And yeah, that's for trampoline. I mean,
Uh,
there's a ton more I can get into, but
right, right.
the US people that
I
I
mean,
just love
that was a good
watching.
list. Good list of guys. Shout out to all of them. But it also sounds like, you're friends with all these people as well. So like what's that like being able to not just compete with, but be companions to these people that you've looked up to?
um, it's just so much fun more than anything. It's definitely amazing to watch them compete, train, and everything like that. But talking to them and getting to know them and know their personalities, it's been like the most incredible thing because, like I said, I feel like I'm fanboying now, but it's like watching them and everything and not knowing anything about them
Hmm.
and then being put on a team with them, terrifying. But every single one of them have been super welcoming,
Hmm.
and I'm super because they made it easy to transition from junior to senior.
That's awesome. I think a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people, yeah, it's super easy to separate, everybody who you look up to, everybody you see on TV and watch. But one thing you always got to remember is everybody's just a person, everybody's human, and I think it's amazing to just hear about how you've been able to befriend all these guys and all these women as well who you looked up to all the way through, since you've been growing up. So congrats to you, man. That's awesome
Thank
to
you.
hear
Thank you.
about. um yeah, so you've been been on a very successful ride so far in the past couple of years. What has changed for you in the past couple of years, do you think?
I'd say the biggest thing was the move.
Hmm.
Um, because I'd always just been training for fun, which, I still do. And it was during the time where I became like a senior elite and right before I'd gone to my first worlds. And I think the biggest thing was being away from like all of my family and friends.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just because at that point it felt like I was sacrificing a lot of things and I wanted to make it really worth it and really train for me, but also for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
huge, I mean, it's a huge sacrifice to, to pack up and leave everything that that's a huge sacrifice, huge commitment to do that. Did that change your outlook on how you did gymnastics?
Um, I think so, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just because before I felt like I'd taken it kind of for granted, just kind of like training and jumping and just having fun with it, which isn't really a bad thing, but I'd say I took my talent for granted because I didn't feel like I was always pushing myself as much as I could have.
Mm-hmm.
And once it finally clicked, um, it's just like ever since then, it's all I've wanted to do. Just train myself, be the best
Mm-hmm.
I could be.
Nice. So yeah, let's go into like just describe a day to day because you have a lot on your plate right now. Obviously, it's summer right now, but you have to go to school, coach as well, and you have to train. Um, what's it like day to day balancing all these three things?
So while I was doing school, I'd say I'd wake up around like 8 every morning,
Mm-hmm.
do my homework, watch my lectures and whatever. Um, take about 3 to 5 hours depending on what I was working on. Um, I'd have like an hour break from the schoolwork, gym, and then I'd coach about 3 to 5 hours a
Mm-hmm.
day, depending what day it is and what classes I had. And then I would do a 2.5 hour training and get back home around 9:30. So it's very busy. And for a while, it felt like just repeat or
Mm-hmm.
repeating the same day over and over again. So glad that glad that it's summer now, where I can get a break, not doing school, everything like that.
Do you have a place to train in California now, or are you just taking it easy?
Just taking it easy,
Mhm. That's nice. That's definitely
just
like
relaxing while I can.
that's something you need.
It
Sure.
is really nice. Um,
Yeah.
I
Um.
just came back to training like last week,
Okay.
and I am out of shape.
That's always so difficult when you on vacation
I
after vacation
could've-
after an injury. It's like, how did I ever do any of this stuff? How long does it take usually for you to come back? You feel like you're 100% after the summer?
um, let's see. Usually, when I a couple weeks off or so, it would take like a week to
Mm-hmm.
come back to where I was before. But with this injury, head injury, brain injury, I am trying to take it extra slow.
Mm-hmm.
Don't want to rush into anything. So it
Okay.
take about a month or so.
Right. Yeah. It's surprising like the shock that you have when you come back, but it's surprisingly like you learn quick. It's like, oh yeah, okay. I can actually do this thing.
Yeah.
I remember now. But moving on. So kind of a big announcement, big thing. You have signed with Gym Crew Talent Management. What was your decision on signing with them, and what do you envision them doing with them in the future?
Yeah, I'm actually really excited to work with the crew and everything. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's definitely a big step for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also excited to not only have them help me, but in any way to help them
Mm-hmm.
that I can. But it just kind of came up with Carrie actually calling me up one day and just talking to me about himself, what he's doing with the crew company and everything. And it got me really like invested and like intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm hoping to work with them, get some sponsorships, hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of get my name out there a little bit more.
Sure. Yeah, I mean that's something. They're a great group of guys there. I mean, I've worked with. I got coached by Taki, who's also one of the guys in Gym Crew, and this amazing experience. And just doing this stuff, they allowed me to start this podcast and use their platform to get to talk to you and a lot of the other top gymnasts as well. So. Yeah, thanks to all of them. Thanks to Gymnasticsville. Like they made this possible. So it's
Yeah.
pretty great.
Shout out, Jim.
Of course. But also, it's the thing that stuck out to me is just always their passion for gymnastics and how to expand the sport in a lot of different ways. And they've been doing a lot of things with Yule and a lot of things with Colin and a lot of other athletes. It's really cool to see them branch out as well to trampoline and tumbling. I'm super excited to see what that entails and what work you guys are gonna do for that. So that's so cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, super excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. Just seeing where it takes me.
Mm-hmm. So I think that's all I have for today. It's been awesome talking to you, Ruben. I definitely learned a lot. I appreciate you coming
on. Yeah, well, I was chatting with you. And thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Hopefully we can do this again, a checkup at Worlds maybe, and figure it out from there.
Let's do it.
All right. See you later. And we are. Acrobatics, rather saying you have the practice for the challenge you're bringing on yourself, because believe me, it's hard when your mind gives up. You gotta speak.